My name is LeGrand Lauritsen. This is presentation 1 for Accounting Ethics Seminar. I've chosen Scenario 7 from Chapter 5 of Schaefer and Pawlik's book, Understanding Accounting Ethics. The facts of this scenario are as follows. Susan York is a CPA from a regional accounting firm, and her biggest audit client is Health Plus. The president of Health Plus is a close friend of Susan's, and Health Plus relies heavily upon Medicare reimbursements. Their annual audit is due on August 15th to the creditors to avoid defaulting on their loans. The work papers for the audit have always been delivered to Susan by August 10th. But the problems begin when Susan receives a call from Dirk Elliott, the president of Health Plus, telling her that the work papers aren't ready yet. He explains that the person who usually prepares these papers has been sick for the past week. He asked for an extension in order to complete the work papers. A couple of days later, he asked for a further extension, and there are further delays. Dirk finally delivers the work papers late in the morning on August 14th. Well, this gives Susan less than 24 hours to complete the audit for Health Plus. Plus Susan has other commitments that day. She has a lunch appointment, she has an interview with a job candidate, and a party and reception for her husband in the evening, which she can't cancel. So the question is, what should Susan do? Well, the authors of Understanding Accounting Ethics have discussed 4 options for Susan. The first option is to simply sign off on the work papers without reviewing them. The second option is to call Dirk Elliott at Health Plus and tell him that she is unable to complete the audit in the time he's given her. The third option is to call the partners of the other partners of the firm and ask for help in completing the audit. And the fourth and final option is to call the creditors and ask for an extension. In my opinion, the first option isn't even an option. It's unethical to sign off on an audit without performing it. This does not fall in line with due professional care. The third option isn't reasonable because the partners of the firm are not familiar with this particular client or this particular industry. And the fourth option, calling the creditors, may affect the independence of the audit and may cause questions and concerns among the creditors. In my opinion, the only viable option is option 2. I would call Dirk Elliott at Health Plus and tell him that he had not given me adequate time to complete the audit by the due date. Health Plus should have known that they hadn't given adequate time to Susan to finish the audit. Plus, it's always better to be honest with people, even if you're delivering bad news. There are also some red flags here. With the many delays of Health Plus delivering the audit papers, Susan may need extra time in completing the audit to ensure that Health Plus is in compliance with Medicare. We should always remember that as accountants, we serve as watchdogs to the marketplace. We have a responsibility to the public to ensure that businesses are representing themselves fairly and accurately. In the text, Robert Montgomery is quoted as saying, "Accountants and the accountancy profession exist as a means of public service. The distinction which separates a profession for a mere means of livelihood is that the profession is accountable to standards of public interest and beyond the compensation paid by clients." In conclusion, as accountants, our first responsibility is to maintain the trust between businesses and consumers. In this scenario, Susan had a responsibility to Health Plus's creditors. These creditors relied and trusted on Susan and the audit report in order to make good financial decisions.